So welcome back. You join me here with Steve, Scooby and Tom. And we're going to be talking about our own favourite candidates for the sports personality of the year. And personally, guys, I think Phil Taylor should win it, you know. He's had 15 world titles, countless and numerous of other national titles. He's got to be the one, surely.
I could understand if he won it a couple of years ago, mate, but he's lost the last two tournaments he's played in. It's not his finest year. I think it would be a bit of an insult to Phil if he won it this year, and he's not in his best form, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say goes back to the old argument about darts itself being a sport. When you get a lot of people out there don't really play the sport, like athletes wouldn't really call it a sport because you're not very fit. But just, of course, you can't say anything against what he's won in the sport. You say football, rugby, whatever. If he'd won that amount of titles, that amount of tournaments, that amount of games in any other sport, would be a legend. But it just seems to be the fact that it's darts that he's not getting the credit he deserves.
But it's like you come down to what your idea of a sport is. I mean, just because it's not physically demanding sport, mentally it's probably one of the most harder sports. The accuracy and the concentration you've got to have is ridiculous. You're going to have 3,000 people screaming and shouting at you with all those TV lights on you. It's got to be one of the most mentally demanding sports you can play.
Isn't doing that though just the same as doing that on a Monopoly board, rolling and dice?
I think the other thing that comes down to with Phil Taylor is the sports personality has become more of a lifetime achievement award now as opposed to the actual year. I mean, maybe that's why he's up for it. And I think that, with Ryan Giggs and Joe Calzaghe, recent winners, that's generally the way it's going. Tony McCoy, surely, if that's the way it is, he's the most successful jockey of all time. His wins speak for themselves. Maybe not his most successful year, but he did win the Grand National for the first time.
But
and he's got a chance.
Yeah, but you're saying that Tony McCoy jockey, but surely you got to look at it again. Is that really a sport? Surely the horse does more work than a jockey does.
Well, I think in his early career speaks for itself.
I think he should win. The first horse to win the
first horse to win BBC Sports Personality of the Year. No, but he's won on supposedly lesser horses in his early career. This is why he gets the good horses now. His career speaks for itself. He's won his first win at 17 years old.
They're very similar candidates, aren't they, in the same fields. You just got to think about...
They've both achieved a lot over the years, and Calzaghe, when he won it, wasn't his best year.
The profile of the sport itself, horse racing and darts are always going to be overlooked by rugby, football and cricket and golf, etc. And you're always going to get the stars from those, the popular sports that are going to be winning it.
Yeah.
Which moves me on to Graham Swan, which is why my personal person to win the sports personality this year. And you think ever since he came into the side in 2008, England have got so much solid as a team, much better, winning games, won the Ashes, and that Ashes is man of the series. They won the World 2010 ICC World 2020. He's been at the heart of it all. Wickets, the fastest Englishman, the 7th fastest Englishman to get to 100 wickets, the only ever English winner to get 50 wickets in a calendar year, and recently he's got a 10-wicket haul in the match, and he's the only spinner to do that since
Do you think
Jim
you shoot
Lecker
yourself
in the 50s.
In the foot a bit early before the Ashes have finished here? You might have a shocker.
No,
the
first test, I know, with this first test, I know.
Do you think he's riding off his Ashes success in 2009?
Definitely not, because he's had a series against South Africa where he got man of the match awards, back-to-back man of the match awards. He played Bangladesh, got his 10-wicket haul there. He's performing all the time, and it was a run fest, the first test. England 500 for 1. When do you ever see that? You never see that. The pitch was flat. There's no turning it for the spinners.
The cricketers tend to win it though. I can't remember.
And Flintoff won it in 2005.
He was a big personality, wasn't he? I suppose it is a personality competition.
That's a good point.
And Swan does.
There's no denying that Swan has completely changed English cricket, but surely, Pakistan they played this summer, they weren't really that great.
I wouldn't say changed. He's just got the bandwagon where it should be. Very 2006, 2007 low patch, and ever since Monty Panesar's dipping form, he's come in and he's just got England back where they should be.
Do you think we're still talking about Graham Swan in 2 years' time, though?
Definitely. He's 31 now. He's just been he can be on for 4 or 5 more years.
Do people outside of cricket, I'm not a big cricket fan, know who Graham Swan is? This is a personality.
Well, no, that's the question, isn't it? That's the question. That's a good question. And I'm not very sure of that.
I think in terms of personality, I think I've got the knockout candidate. Excuse the pun. But David Hay. He achieved the pinnacle of his sport. He's a cruiserweight by natural. He's not on BBC television, so that's probably going to hinder him because BBC tend to always have the winner. Allegedly, but he won all the titles at cruiserweight. He became the undisputed champion, and he stood up to heavyweight, which is not his natural weight division. Took on a bloke 7 stone heavier. Okay, admittedly that was last year.
Yeah,
beat him. Was the first person to wobble him. He's stopped John Ruiz for the first time in 14 years, and he's just beat fraud. Okay, didn't I probably could have beaten him, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
it wasn't the best fight, was it?
But he just beat Fraudley Harrison, and the Klitschko's are running scared as far as I'm concerned, and he's got a personality.
Well, he said it was last year, and he was up for the award last year as well, wasn't he? And he came third, and you think, well, if there was a year, everyone was going to.
That's the same thing about your candidates.
You've also got to look at the sports personality here. It's always whoever's in the media spotlight come December. I mean, David Hay had just won his world title fight at the end of November.
What's the biggest
but that
pinnacle?
fight was a joke, though, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what's the biggest pinnacle in cricket? In the cricket world, the pinnacle is the Ashes, isn't it?
Yeah,
Everyone tunes in. And the
So
second test in Adelaide, starting tonight, in fact, ends on what? 6th of December, 5 days before. Adelaide's a turning pitch, a spinner's pitch, so called out of the 5. If he does really well in that, Graham Holland's
he should
back in the headlines, isn't he? So
personality-wise, though, how many people, kind of general sports fans, know AP McCoy's personality? How many people know Graham Swan's personality? Okay, they might have heard Phil Taylor on the telly. I think they probably know a lot more about David Hay because he's more.
Twitter though, Graham Swan's got 80,000 Twitter following. Got all these logs on YouTube, like that's his story. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Obviously, you've got all the other candidates. I mean, Amy Williams, the only woman to win a gold at.
Jennifer Ennis is surely going to be there, isn't she?
Mark Cavendish as well, what he's achieved as well.
I mean, he's done some superb stuff. But you've got to look. That was all at the start of the year. I mean, if I went to told you, you probably would have forgotten who Amy Williams was. So she's down in January. She's not going to get any votes come December.
But they're all individuals with Graham Swan surrounded by a team. That's my argument with Ryan Gigg last year.
That's true.
He's got 10 people helping him out.
Yeah.
So these people have achieved pinnacle of their sports by themselves without help from other people.
Well,
I think it's going to be AP McCoy.
Yeah. Well, no, one thing that's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's going to be a tough fight.
Well, obviously we've put our cases forward, but the only winner we'll find out will be on the 19th of December, which we'll see live on BBC One.
Hope hey.
Thank you very much.